The rain had already washed half the dirt from her face when Ethan Caldwell first saw the ragged woman standing motionless on the side of Highway 41. He had been driving for hours, alone with his thoughts and the hollow ache in his chest that never left him anymore. The road stretched out endlessly, a ribbon of gray cutting through fields muted by the coming storm. And then, in one split second, everything inside him froze, because the woman wasn't just another lost stranger. She was the last person he ever expected to see again. She was the girl who vanished without a trace 3 years ago, Lily Hartman, the woman he once believed he might spend his life with, the woman whose disappearance had shattered him in ways he still hadn't learned to understand. Before the story unfolds fully, dear viewers, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and helping those who are lost, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps these emotional stories reach more hearts. Ethan pulled the car over with the kind of trembling breath a person takes when life suddenly gives them something impossibly unreal. He stepped out slowly, feeling the cold wind bite at his skin, but it was nothing compared to the shock twisting inside him. She looked different, thinner, hair tangled, clothes drenched. But her eyes, those eyes he used to know better than his own reflection, they were the same, though dimmed by something he could not yet name. She didn't seem to recognize him, didn't even flinch when he whispered her name under his breath, just stood there, staring into the distance as if trapped between worlds. He expected answers, or at least a flicker of recognition, but what he saw was far more unsettling. She looked afraid of reality itself. As he moved closer, Ethan remembered the days when Lily's laughter filled a room like warm light. She was spontaneous, creative, the kind of person who left little notes in the smallest corners of his apartment. Drink water, don't stress, I'm proud of you. She was sunshine trapped in human form, and then one night she simply vanished. No goodbye, no call, no belongings missing. One moment she was there, the next she was swallowed by the dark. The search reached every corner of their town. Police questioned everyone. Her parents pleaded on TV. Ethan barely slept for months, but eventually the world moved on. Except him. He never truly healed. Now she was here, broken and trembling in the cold morning rain. Her lips slightly parted as if she wanted to speak but had forgotten how. Ethan took off his jacket and draped it gently around her shoulders. She didn't resist, but her gaze didn't lift either. He guided her to the car, hardly breathing as he did, afraid she'd dissolve into mist if he blinked too long. When she finally sat inside, curled into the seat like a frightened child, Ethan felt something shift inside him. Fear mixed with relief. Confusion mixed with a desperate need to protect her. She wasn't just someone he cared about once. She was someone whose loss carved a permanent hollow in him. The first few miles, she didn't speak, just stared out the window with a distant emptiness that made Ethan's heart ache. He wanted to ask where she had been, what happened, why she vanished, but the sight of her fragile state held his questions back. Instead, he drove toward town, glancing at her every few moments, as if confirming she was real. By the time they reached his house, the rain had become a heavy curtain. Lily stumbled slightly as she stepped out, and Ethan instinctively grabbed her arm to steady her. She looked at him then, really looked, and for the first time he saw a flicker of something familiar behind her fear. That single moment hit him harder than the storm outside. Inside the warm living room, she stopped at the doorway, like someone crossing into a world they no longer remembered. Ethan fetched her a blanket and a glass of warm water. When she wrapped the blanket around herself, the fabric seemed to swallow her small frame. She sipped slowly, eyes darting around the room as if searching for memories that refused to surface. Minutes passed in silence until she whispered something so faint he almost missed it. "Is it safe here?" That single question nearly broke him. Her voice was shaky, barely holding itself together. Ethan nodded gently and assured her she was safe, but behind his calm answer was a storm of questions he dared not release. She didn't explain what she meant by safe, nor did she offer more. She simply stared into her cup as if the steam held her past locked inside it. Days passed. Lily slept more than she stayed awake, as though exhaustion lived deep inside her bones. She moved slowly, ate little, and flinched at sudden noises. The spark that once made her glow seemed buried under layers of fear and trauma. And yet, every day, Ethan saw small traces of the woman he once knew. The way she tucked her hair behind her ear, the soft hum she made unconsciously while thinking, the way she studied sunrises through the window like someone seeing them for the first time. Slowly, bit by bit, fragments of her began to surface, though never in complete sentences. I don't remember where I was, but I remember being afraid. There were people, or maybe one person. I don't know. Everything was dark. I think I wasn't allowed to leave. Each half-whispered confession chilled Ethan to his core. Whatever had happened to Lily wasn't simple. It wasn't an accident or a voluntary disappearance. It was something darker, something that left scars deeper than the eye could see. He wanted to go to the police, wanted them to reopen the case, wanted justice for what she endured. But Lily pleaded with him not to, not yet. The panic in her eyes when he mentioned it made him swallow his instincts. She needed safety first, stability, trust. So he waited. As the weeks unfolded, Lily slowly began reclaiming small pieces of herself. She started wearing some of Ethan's oversized sweaters, ate full meals, and sat on the porch during sunsets. Ethan noticed her breathing seemed steadier outdoors, as if fresh air calmed the storms inside her. He made sure she never felt pressured to talk, never rushed her healing. He simply stayed close, offering gentle presence without expectation. One evening, while the sun dipped low and cast golden light across the porch, Lily finally began to speak. Really speak. Her voice was fragile, trembling but determined. She said she remembered being taken. She didn't know by who, she never saw the person's face clearly. Everything came in flashes. Being locked in a room, hearing footsteps outside the door, losing track of days, fear becoming her only companion. She didn't know how she escaped or how long she had been wandering before Ethan found her, but she remembered how hope almost died inside her. And she remembered his name, Ethan, over and over. In her darkest moments, she had whispered it to herself because it made her feel less alone. She didn't know why. She didn't even remember their relationship clearly, but something inside her, something deep, had held onto his memory like a lifeline. Ethan's heart clenched painfully at her confession. He didn't cry. He didn't interrupt. He just listened as tears finally streamed down her face, her body shaking with the force of memories she hadn't dared face until that night. When she finished, she sank against him, exhausted and trembling. Ethan held her with a tenderness carved from years of longing and months of silent hope. He didn't promise her that everything would be okay, because false hope was not what she needed. Instead, he promised quietly that she would never face another night alone again. Lily's healing was not quick. Trauma doesn't fade with time, it fades with understanding, patience, love, and safety. Some mornings she woke up trembling, some nights she startled awake with silent screams, but she also began laughing again, small, hesitant laughs at first, then fuller ones that reached her eyes. She began remembering little pieces of her old life, her favorite songs, the way she loved blueberry muffins, the fact that she once dreamed of becoming a photographer. Every memory regained was a victory, and Ethan celebrated each one with quiet joy. Months passed, and Lily became someone rebuilt from both pain and hope, stronger in ways she didn't realize, softer in ways that made Ethan's heart ache. And slowly, memories of their life together began finding their way back to her. She remembered their first date at the farmer's market. She remembered road trips, shared jokes, late-night talks. She remembered the way he used to look at her, like she was a miracle he didn't know how to deserve. One autumn evening, while sorting through old photos Ethan kept stored in a shoebox, Lily found a picture of the two of them laughing in the sun. She traced her own smile with her fingertip, then looked at Ethan with tears in her eyes. She whispered that she wanted to start over, not from where they left off, but from where they were now. Two people marked by time but guided by something stronger than loss. Dear viewers, if this story has kept your heart engaged so far, please take a moment to like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes in hope and healing. Lily's strength grew month by month. She started therapy, found new hobbies, volunteered at a local shelter, and learned to trust the world again in small steps. She and Ethan took slow walks through parks, watched sunsets, cooked together, laughed over silly little things that made life feel warm again. There were moments of setback, but she never faced them alone. One day, nearly a year after Ethan found her on the highway, Lily stood in front of a mirror and didn't see a broken woman anymore. She saw someone who survived, someone who fought her way back to life. She saw someone who had been lost but was now building a future she could finally imagine. She saw a woman who learned that healing wasn't about forgetting, but about rising anyway. Ethan didn't rescue her, he didn't fix her. He simply walked beside her while she found her own way back. And that made all the difference. By the next spring, Lily bought a new camera, restored her passion for photography, and began capturing moments of ordinary beauty. Sunsets, kids playing, old couples holding hands. She said she wanted to photograph the world she once thought she'd never see again. On the anniversary of the day Ethan found her, they returned to the same highway. Lily stood where she once stood, lost, broken, alone, but this time she stood tall, steady, breathing freely. Ethan stood beside her not as a savior, but as someone who believed in her even when she barely believed in herself. She looked at him with gratitude and something deeper, a quiet, gentle love rebuilt from ashes. She told him she didn't remember everything from before, but she remembered enough. And everything else, she wanted to build anew, one day at a time. As the wind brushed past them, she took Ethan's hand, and for the first time since her return, she felt whole. If this story touched your heart, dear viewers, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps keep these emotional, inspiring stories alive. Before we end, please comment below. Hope always finds a way. And remember, sometimes life brings people back, not the way they left, but in the way they're meant to return.